Hello, thank you very much for tuning into this week's Pick a Read. The topic for this week's Pick a Read is why did this happen? And I'm hoping we go towards why did this happen and what can you do about it, or what can help you to know about this. What can you get out of this situation? You know, from what you learn why this happened, what can you do with that? You know what I mean? So that's the whole thought of what we're doing with this. For the main tarot cards, using the Bonefire Tarot by Gabby Angus West. For supportive oracle cards, Wisdom of the House of Night Oracle. This one is by Danielle and illustrated by Jenna. And I'm not going to... I've just given up on butchering names. I just don't want to. I just don't want to do it because it really is a gift. I can butcher anybody's name. It could be 2 letters and I can destroy that thing. You don't even know. So I'm going to let that go. So... for this one, I'm going to do it a little different than I normally do my pick-a-reads. I'm actually just going to put out the stones. And I'm going to shuffle for each one. Like, I'm going to put the cards back and reshuffle. And I'm going to see if I can get these in line. I'd like to have them all in frame if I'm not asking too much. Well, actually, you know, we've got a lot of room over here, don't we? There we go. And that's... can we get these all? Okay, so I'm going to start with Tourmaline. I'm then going to go to Sodalite, Stichtite, Rainbow Hematite, and then green Calcite. And then I'm going to try to get my vocabulary back in line because it's leaving me really quickly. I have no idea why. I really like this stone. I usually use this for focus, but I know there's other reasons for this. I looked it up. Like there's a healing connection with this one too. So, anything else? Okay, so go ahead, look at these. Maybe you want to pause it, decide which one's for you. And then I'm going to pick up the stone, kind of meditate with that really quick. Well, not meditate. I'm just going to pull in the energy and then shuffle and go for it from there. We'll see what you get. So I'm going to start with the Tourmaline. Let's see if I can put these in order so I don't take them out of order when I do them after. So the Tourmaline. With this one, it's usually about like absorbing negative energy and healing it. Like it's like identifying like this is wrong and then, you know, dealing with it. Basically dealing with negative energy and then doing what you need to do with it. Not just kind of like pushing it away or saying that's not for me. Actually engaging that negative energy and like grounding it out or putting it away or stopping it from infecting your life or anybody else's life. That's kind of what this is. That's what I'm feeling from it. That's what and I looked it up, it's just to be fair, but this does seem to make sense to me. I love this stone. I like that a lot. Okay, so let's do Tourmaline. For those of you who chose Tourmaline, I'm just going to shuffle a little bit, put some cards down, see what we get. Like why did this happen, whatever you're dealing with, why you chose this, like why did that happen, and hopefully some information about what to do about it. Okay, and this deck is kind of bulky. That's okay. It's the deck, I swear, the Bonefire Tarot, sometimes it's easy for me to shuffle, other days it's just like, it feels like the biggest deck in the world. I don't understand what the deal is with that. Like some days I'm like, oh yeah, it's fine, I can shuffle it easily. But then there's days like today and I'm just like, I feel like I'm shuffling books. Like, I'm like, oh my goodness, they're so big, they're so huge, they're falling all over the place. For the love of Pete. Okay, let's see. It seems like you're making a jump here. I'm noticing that right off the bat. So, I want those like that. This one upside down is okay. Is this right side up or upside down? Yeah, it seems upside down. Okay. Let's try to get them in frame for it. There's definitely a gap here, though. There's a jump. There's a jump from one to the next. Somebody feels exposed, that's for sure. And somebody feels exposed, and somebody else is getting strength from that, but it's also grounding down the situation. So why did this happen? Because I feel like it needed to be exposed. I feel like that's a very easy answer to that, but It's kind of like somebody was looking for answers. Somebody needed to know what was going on, and then like somebody wanted the answer and searched it out is basically what I'm getting. Somebody was unearthing, somebody was digging it up. And I feel like this was an effort to stop all the confusion, to try to bring things together, to like connect the dots. Somebody looked for the answer. That's why this is happening. Somebody wanted to know an answer to something, why this is happening themselves. Like this, what's happening to you now is the answer to somebody else's question, is what I'm kind of getting. And somebody's been fighting to get this for the longest time. They wanted all the confusion to be ground out. They wanted all the options to be stopped. They wanted to like eliminate all the false pretenses. So they brought things forward, and it's. I feel like whatever the situation you're dealing with, it might not have been directly the direct result, but it might have been like an offshoot. Like somebody else was looking for an answer, for example, to a car crash, and maybe your car was used in it, or maybe you were driving by at the time and you were kind of called out for being in the area, and they're like, well, what did you see? And then certain things happen, like, well, why were you even there at that time? I feel like it's something like that. Like somebody else was looking for an answer and you got caught up in the middle of it. That's the answer I'm getting for why this is happening. You're the answer to somebody else's question is really what I'm getting, and somebody was searching it out. Now, this over here, this side, and I'm wondering if we're going to be doing all these this way. It's something like you were pointed out, like somebody seems to be pointing the finger at you, is what I'm getting with the trapped. Kind of like, oh, now we know you were there. Now we know you were a part of this. Now we know you had something to do with it. And it may not be like you actively participated, but you just happened to be, it could be wrong place, wrong time, just to be fair. But, you know, who really believes in that anymore? But it's just you were a part of the situation one way or another, even if it was just kind of, almost it seems like default in a way. Like default in the sense of like, you don't see how, like, you don't feel like you had to have been a part of it. You just happened to be at the right place at the right time. And you feel trapped in it, literally trapped in it. 4 of coins into the 13 here. The 13 is the death card. I'm getting like this is freeing you from something else. This is also what you can do about this. Just kind of go forward with the situation, handle it. Just handle it, I feel like. If you feel like you're trapped, I find this very interesting with this cage, because this is a very interesting cage. If you're familiar with this type of cage for a bird, because if you look at it really closely, you're like, how did they get that big bird in that little cage? And there's a little door there. I don't know if you can see it. There's like a teeny door as big as the bird's head, and you're like, how does that even make sense? The way it makes sense is the bottom of that cage comes off, and the bottom of the cage comes out. You pull the bottom of the cage down, you take care of everything in it, and then you put the bottom of the cage back in it, and that's what it is. But that's the trick with the trapped cage here. Like, it's hard to see how to get out of that cage, but that's how you get out of that cage. And I'm getting, like, if you take the bottom out of the situation and just kind of like, yeah, I was there, and this is what I was doing. If there's something you're like, I don't really want to own up to it, I feel like the more you hold back, if there's something you just don't want people to know you were a part of, for example, if there's a friend that you hang out with once in a while, and there's nothing wrong with that, but if other people find out about it, they're going to be like, well, I thought you weren't doing it anymore. Why are you hanging out with that friend? We don't like that friend. And you're going to get guff about it. Or, for example, I've seen this happen. You have a friend, and this friend moved on from your current job, and they're working for a competitor. So if they find out, if people you work with find out you're still friends with this person, then you're going to be under suspicion. Like, what are you doing? Why are you causing problems? Are you doing things unethically? You're not doing anything unethically, but if that's a problem, you can just be like, hey, I'm allowed to have friends. Doesn't matter. Doesn't mean just because I'm friends with this person, I'm going to do something unethical. I feel just like letting it come forward, letting it come out, I feel like it frees you from the whole situation. There's more coming through, but I'm feeling some negativity here, and I'm just kind of letting it go. See, this makes sense with the Tourmaline, which the whole point with the Tourmaline is absorbing negative energy and dealing with it and grounding it out, or just putting it away. And I feel like that's what they're saying, what you should do with this. Pull it in. Deal with it. Face it. If somebody comes at you in a negative way, face them and say, all right, let me just deal with this. And when we're done, but go into it with the mindset, we're going to deal with this, we're going to deal with it now, and I'm going to put these questions to rest. I'm not going to let this chase me down the street any longer. We're going to deal with this and put it away. That's the trap thing too, because it feels like as long as you run from the situation or try to get away from the situation or don't answer it directly, it's just that constant trapped feeling. And they're saying, Release yourself from that trapped feeling. I'm getting the fulfillment here, and this is kind of like, if you divide this in half right here, the upper part is supposed to be you, the lower part is supposed to be the other side, and then the middle is how you overlap and come together. You'll notice the fulfillment is kind of tipping up onto your side. It may not feel like this is a good thing at the time when you have to deal with this face to face, and you may not enjoy it at all, but I'm getting the fulfillment comes in for you later. Like dealing with this, facing it head on, putting it to rest, absorbing that negativity and grounding it out. Like, all right, yeah, I was there, so I'm allowed, you know what, this person's my friend. Doesn't mean we're doing anything unethical, and just because they leave and go to a competitor, that doesn't end a friendship for me. Like, that's not gonna do that for me. I'm not gonna do that. Of course, that's just an analogy, of course, but I feel like you have choices coming in. Like, there's choices in the environment. Somebody who's giving you a hard time, they have to choose to either let it go or make something more of it. I actually feel like once it's out there in the open, whatever it is, it's kind of like whatever's going to happen next is going to happen next. I get the death card is kind of like you don't have to run from it anymore. And the next phase of whatever's supposed to happen is going to come in. I also would like to say with this death card, it's a major arcana card. You usually can't negotiate them. The next phase that's coming in is happening one way or another, sooner or later. So this information coming forward, for example, if that ends up where you, just for argument's sake, lose your job, it was coming anyway. Or if it comes forward in the sense of like somebody else is going to like find out something and then they're going to maybe lose their job for pushing on you or crossing lines or whatever. And maybe this is going to give you a heads up because not for nothing, we all have friends in different areas. Just because there's a conflict of interest doesn't mean we're going to cross that line. I'm getting the death card as saying it's going to happen sooner or later. It's better for you just to face it, release yourself from this trap, and move forward. Don't let this drag you down any farther than it has to. Or anything else with this one? Alright, that is the Tourmaline. Let's put that away. So then I'm going to pick up these cards and shuffle them all again. I think that's a good idea. Let's keep going. Some right side up, some upside down in this one. So, what's the next stone? Oh, this is the Sodalite, if you can see it. Sodalite is it's a very interesting stone because I know there's a lot of salt in it, but it's kind of like they call it the poet's stone. I'm not really a poet myself, just not. But the thought of it is kind of like it's a calm healing, kind of like the poetry, like healing yourself through words by writing poetry, like figuring out how you really feel and you're kind of releasing it that way. So it's a calm healing. When I think of Sodalite, it's kind of finding a way to express in a way where you feel safe, where you can release negativity. Like, that's kind of like a healing, like dealing with negativity, that's a healing thing. But in a calm way, a way that makes you feel safe. So if it's like poetry, writing out your feelings in poetry, it could stay right with you. But or even if somebody reads it, it's poetry. They maybe have no idea what you're talking about, but you still feel heard, you still get to express it. It's healing, in my opinion, in a calm way, where you don't have to feel like you're exposed or you have to worry about conflict or somebody confronting you. Okay. So let's see, why did this happen for those who chose the Sodalite? Sodalite. What do we have for Sodalite? The people who chose Sodalite. Why did this happen? Whatever they're dealing with, whatever's going on, and they want an answer. Why is this happening? What is going on? Why did it happen? I'm going to shuffle the other one too, actually, before I put this down. Even though these don't really want to shuffle that much, I think we're done. Okay, let's go ahead and put the cards down. So I'm thinking we're going to do it like I did the other one. I'm hoping to keep these in frame. So let's see if that works. Oh, I think that's all we got for that. Alright, so are we still in frame is the first question. Those are in frame, and I think these are in frame too. Alright. Understanding. The star, what do we got? I have to explain this in a second. Ooh, well there's a lot of good ones to start out. There are a lot of good ones. If we could just keep them all in frame. You know what? Might as well flip these two. Why be elusive with it? Okay. And I feel like this is going to go like the last one did too. It's kind of like there's a break right here. This is where it's coming from. This is where it's going, where it can be better for you. This is how it can get better for you. I kind of feel like that's where we're going with this. So Sodalite, why is this happening? Understanding is trumping the whole situation. Understanding what's really going on here. I feel like exposing, being exposed. I'm noticing this 8-10 connection in the environment. I also, by the way, like this is the center line. The bottom is usually the outside influence. The top side is usually like what's going on with you. In the middle, wherever they match, is kind of like, you know, what's going on between you and whatever you're dealing with. So this is you. This is what's going on around you. Could be flipped, just to be fair, but, you know, that's my thought going in this. Understanding. Somebody's under a lot of stress, and they're feeling trapped. That's the Eight of Swords. Okay? Now, this energy here, I almost feel like you were targeted. When I'm seeing the Star card on your side, I kind of, because this has happened to me before, where I just, even though I come off as a very happy, joyful person a lot of times, it doesn't mean my life is perfect or great at the moment. It just means it's private, and so I'm good at shielding that. Like, I don't want people to know I'm not happy. I don't want to talk about it, so I put a smile on, mostly because I don't really want people asking me what's going on. Right or wrong, that's what happens. But I feel like for whatever reason, I don't feel like your life is all that spectacularly wonderful. Like, it's good. I don't know. I don't feel like you're a rock star in the sense of like you're flying from city to city every night, playing to sold out concerts. You're a normal human. But whoever this was targeting you as if your life was so good, and they thought you didn't deserve to have such a good life. So they were almost like trying to bring you down to their level. I really feel like, I know that sounds rotten, but that's the energy I'm getting here. And I'm seeing here, like, you have a lot going on. I just feel like, you know, if it's not somebody's business, you're not going to share it with them. You're not going to say your daily grind and, like, I have this going on, I have to deal with this person, I have to get this done, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that. I mean, I don't really know of people who go to readings like this especially, and they're like, my life is perfect, everything's great, tell me how much more good it's going to be. Usually there's a reason, there's something you're looking to figure out is why you're coming to these. So it's probably not far-fetched to say your life isn't completely perfect, but then again, in reality, nobody's life is perfect. It's not meant to be. So I do feel like the targeting feel here. This is making me feel like you were targeted, because there's a lot of stress and like feeling trapped and feeling unfair. It's unfair that you have so much and I have so little. That's how this energy feels. It's like it wants to like bring you down to their level. But it's not so much that you're not on the same level they are. You just keep it together. You keep it to yourself. You smile at other people and maybe just try to bring people up instead of pulling them down. And just they don't handle stress that well. That could be just that they don't handle stress that well. Now, understanding is on this side too. Like, it's almost like they want you to understand how they feel. And I'm noticing this Ace of Pentacles. It does feel like there's a monetary component to this. Ace, coins, pentacles, you know, it does feel like money-wise, but I'm not completely sold on the money connection. I actually feel like it's more about like how much, like if you equate love to money, like some people equate love to like a tangible item. I don't really think that's correct, but that's what some people do. It's like they only got so much love and you got so much more. And for some reason they don't think that's fair, because I do feel like there's a love connection here. Like you see a lot of praise, a lot of, you know, positive energy coming towards you. They feel like they should be getting a lot more. They feel like you're being pointed out for all your good things a lot more than they are, and they don't think that's fair, so they're trying to show that you're just as fallible as they are, because they think, you know, if people saw you in the correct light and saw you that, you know, you were just as good as they are, or they're just as good as you are, that this would balance out, something like that. Which is interesting, because I feel like if you get pointed out for doing good things and people sing your praises more than this person, I feel like it's not about the job done, but it's quite frankly, people just connect with you easier. people like you and relate to you easier. That could be what it is, just to be fair. And maybe this person is hard to relate to, and maybe just the way that they are and the way they kind of point people out. I don't think it feels like this person rubs a lot of people the wrong way anyway. Okay, I'm noticing even in this part, even in the beginning, like you're asking why did this happen, I'm seeing a lot of success for you. I do see a lot of success, especially with the Six of Wands. For those of you who know the tarot, the Six of Wands is a success card. You got the Queen of Pentacles right below this, the Ace of Coins below it. Ace of Coins, it's funny. Ace of Coins, Ace of Pentacles, Queen of Coins, Queen of Pentacles, whatever you want to say there. They're matching cards. I feel like this energy should be moving more in your direction, because I feel like the energy is going more to your benefit. Even though this energy is pointing you out, I feel like even in the beginning, it's still going more to your benefit. But if you're questioning why, like that's the why. I do see some interesting energy coming forward here. Now, if you want to balance this out and get this person off your back, I'm kind of feeling like shifting things over their way a little bit, and maybe just kind of like, all right, so I'm feeling this energy, like this protective energy going on here. I feel the Seven of Swords is kind of like this person doesn't get called out for giving you a hard time. I'm kind of like leery about why that's okay, but let's keep going. I'm getting like, it's almost like a by the rules type feel here. This is something interesting, because I feel like where this can actually, what you can do with it to actually, I feel like you can kind of move on from it a lot easier, is to just kind of like let whatever it was, let it go and just kind of move on from it. I'm getting this Knight of Wands, kind of like you kind of got beat up a little bit by this situation, but I feel like if you just kind of let it dissipate and go away, it kind of like let this person shine for a moment, not at your expense. You should not let them shine at your expense. But I'm almost feeling like give them a chance to step forward and show what they can do, if that's what they want. Show, sing their own praises. Just step back and let them have a moment. I actually feel like this could actually change this for this person. Like if you willingly step back and you kind of like, I feel like you slowly addressing this person and kind of being like, not allowing them to just walk on you, because that's not right. You don't want to let somebody walk on you. That's not at all okay. But kind of like, all right, I see your point. You do good things too. It doesn't seem like you're getting as much credit as I am, and we're both doing a good job. So why don't you take this next opportunity? You just take it where you want to go. I'm completely okay with that. I think that's fair. It's fine. And just kind of like not, how do I want to put this? Not calling this person out for just like, pointing you out or like trying to give you a hard time. Just kind of like pushing that to the side, not really acknowledging it too much. I mean, it's very tricky because you don't want to be walked on. You definitely don't. But kind of like, all right, I hear your concerns. We're equally, accountable for our own actions. You feel like you're not getting credit. You feel like I'm getting more credit, and we're doing the same thing. So why don't you take this next opportunity and you shine at this point? Because I'm getting the Ten of Pentacles, Ten of Coins, Ten of Pentacles, same thing. On their side, with going into the High Priestess of Spirit, I really feel like this person is going to like, I mean, it's a general read, but what I'm really feeling is like they're going to take this to heart. Like, you're like, all right, you want this opportunity? Here you go. Now, it depends on what type of person this is, because I'm kind of like, it's a general read, so it's gonna depend on the situation. If this is a good person, and we're just going to hope it is, this is going to pay you back in the long run. It's going to come back around. They're going to remember this. They're going to look out for you a little bit, because they're going to realize that, they complained a little bit. You heard them, understood them, and gave them a chance to be seen as well. So that's going to pay you off in a very good way. Now, if this is a more negative person for whatever reason, how negative, how dark, whatever, maybe they're, what is that catchphrase people like? Sociopath? No, there's another word. There's a word that goes flying around lately. It's not sociopath. What is it? It doesn't matter. Whatever type of person that is. If it's a darker person, a darker entity here, I'll get the date. I'm getting that if you step back and let them run the show, they're going to highlight their truth. In truth, good, bad, indifferent, whatever this person is, they will highlight their truth. And if they really do deserve the credit, they're going to get that credit, but they're also going to remember you later, and that will flow back your way later. If they're a negative person for whatever reason, they're going to show what they're really about, and they're going to get their just desserts for that. It's going to take the focus off of you and put it all on them. I just feel like you stepping back and letting them have this just kind of releases you from the situation, especially if after the fact somebody asks, why did you let that person move forward? They complained they weren't getting a chance to shine. I wanted to give them a chance to shine. So I stepped back and let them have it. Not in a bad way, but in a good way. I let them do what they wanted to do. I feel like this could easily release you from this. It's almost, I'm seeing this Nine of Wands, and I just want to be careful with this, because I feel like it's literally, like you got a little beat up in this part here, but it's just kind of like sidestepping, like, all right, you need that moment? All right, here you go. If they're a good person, later they'll make up for it. If they're not such a good person, they're going to highlight what they're really like, and they'll get their just desserts for it. That's what I'm getting. All right. And that's the Sodalite. Whew. That went longer than I thought it was going to go. I'm usually quicker at these, but this is the first time that I've just kind of like put out the stone and shuffled them as I went, which I feel takes a bit longer. So maybe that's why it just seems like it's going a while. All right, the next one, Stichtite, which I'm probably saying that wrong. I admit it. This eases your worries. I also think this is like Atlanticite. I think that's what this is also like. It's got the alligator feel to it, but like I know it's connected to like I want to say astral projection or going back and connecting to like spiritual history, like stuff that you can't find in books, things like that you just gotta intuitively go back, and this can help you intuitively go back. I feel like that's one of those stones. So, you know, easing your worries or history, like unseen history, undocumented history, that type of stuff. So let's see. For the people who chose Stichtite, which I know I'm saying it wrong, but you know, there you go. Stichtite. Why did this happen? I gotta do a little bit more. Let's see. This deck really does feel bulky right now. Okay, now let me do the other cards. I'm sorry, you can't see this. I probably should put it up here so you can at least see it. That way you get some visual of what's going on here. Let's do it one more time. Okay. What do we have for the people who chose Stichtite? I think we can do this. I don't really want to do anymore. Okay, so we'll put this away. Let's do the other deck. Alright, so why is this happening? First of all, let's make sure everything's in frame for you, hopefully. So you got the Moon, High Priestess of Spirit, Knight of Pentacles, Knight of Coins, same difference. Ten of Wands, Hope, Invisibility, or Invisible I should say, Denial, and the Two of Coins. Okay. I feel like this is where this is going. I feel like they're trying to give you a heads up. So I feel like this one for you guys is going to be less about what you can do about it and more about a heads up about where this is going for those of you this hits with. Because you got the Moon coming in with the High Priestess of Spirit and the Knight of Pentacles, Knight of Coins in this deck. But I feel like there's something that's been going on and going on and going on. And I feel like for you, you're wondering why something's happening. I feel like it's been going on all the time. Like it's been going on for a long while. And you might be like, well, yeah, I know that. It's just I know about it now. Because I feel like that's the point. You know about it now. It doesn't feel like it's a new situation. It's a problem that's been persisting right along. But something has come forward, and now this is a result of that problem that's been going on for a long time in the environment. The bottom part here, from here down is the environment. From here up is what's going on with you. And the middle is where you come together. So it's been going on for a long while. I feel like it's been hidden behind the Moon. I feel like it's been a mystery to you about certain things. The High Priestess of Spirit is like the universe is saying this has to come forward, because if it doesn't come forward, it's just going to keep going. This is why this is coming forward. I feel like it's like a spiritual push forward. Like this has to happen. This has to come forward. It's trying to push somebody to make a change. And I almost feel like you might be getting the residual or like the fallout of what's going on here. You might be having some very negative situations around you, but it's kind of like you're watching something happen and it's making you very nervous. And it's kind of like, how far is this going to go? How bad is this going to get? I'm seeing the Ten of Wands for you, and the hope is kind of like, I hope it doesn't get any worse than this, but it's starting to really stress you out. It could get a lot worse, and you're worried, like, is it going to get a lot worse? Why is this happening? Is because it's been happening the whole time, and the universe is trying to get it to change. So it's pushing things in place, and kind of, I feel like there might be some embarrassment here for somebody, kind of like trying to like put them in a place where it's either do something about it or be exposed, one of the two. And if they're exposed, then that's going to take it into a whole nother level of like do something about it or deal with the ridicule, something like that. So that's why I feel like it's happening. And I notice it is stressing you out. Now, I don't feel like, whoever you are watching this, I don't feel like you have a lot of control here. I really don't feel like you have a lot of control about what's going on. I'm seeing invisibility, denial, and the Two of Coins. Like this person, somebody needs to make a decision. Somebody needs to change. Or I feel like life is going to push them into a corner or paint them into a corner, you know what I mean, to where they're going to have to either change and go out the window, or they have to walk over the wet floor, and you're going to see their footprints so easily that they're going to get called out for what's going on. I really feel like that's what life is doing here, because right now, even now and in the future, you really don't see what's going on with someone else. And that's why this is happening. It's trying to expose. It's like the universe is trying to expose somebody for their own good so that they fix something and they stop doing what they're doing. But they're in denial about it. Denial is right there, right here. And the Two of Coins, the Two of Pentacles, like they're having a hard time with this. I feel like they're just trying to give you a heads up, like somebody's going through something and they're hiding it. It's almost like they've been branded or something weird like that. I'm trying to see if there's any other energy with this. Because it's giving the why, like they're showing the why. I mean, I know we answered that, but what else do we want from this? I feel like they're just giving you a heads up, like hold on and go and wait, let it ride out. If you think you know who this person is, the only positive thing I can say about this is try to give them some support. Try to give them like that beacon of hope to like talk it out, or give them that feeling like everybody's human. Sometimes we just need to talk stuff out to really think about what's going on in our lives. If you want to reach out, if you think you know who this is, just kind of give them that. Everybody's human. We all have our moments. Life does what it does, and sometimes people have a harder life or people have easier lives at certain times of life. It ebbs and flows. It always does. So we're all human. You can try to encourage them to talk it out and to come forward with it, but they have to get to that Two of Coins. The invisible makes me think you're really not going to know what's going on with this person. You're really not going to know. Because I feel like some of these people have this weird anxiety or something, like they can't, like they're trying to hide from people, like they're trying to hide from life and they just can't do it anymore and they just can't stand it. And I know some people like that, like it gets so stressful just going out in public, just going to the store becomes very heavy. And it's just like, or even like a party where they know people and like people, but it gets so stressful just to do that and they just can't explain it and they're embarrassed about it because this feeling overwhelms them. They don't really have a reason behind it. It happens and it's there. And I'm feeling like this person might be going through something like that, and they just might need to get some help for that, and they're fighting it, is what I'm getting. That they're fighting it. They don't realize how bad it really is. It's not their fault, but at some point they're going to need to do something different about it, because whatever the usual ways of coping with it used to work, they're not working anymore. So I feel like you can put out some feelers, try to like give people encouragement to talk, but I feel like you're poised to the side, you just got to watch. And they're giving you the answer like, yeah, it's happening. Yeah, this is why it's happening. But no, there's really not much you can do other than try to give the people you think this is happening to some words of encouragement. That's all you can do, and just let it be. Especially if it's an anxiety thing. A couple small short phrases, you don't want to go in depth. You don't want to like corner somebody and tell them how much you care, because that might make it worse. It's just that's an anxiety thing. A couple small words of encouragement and then walk away and let them be. Make it easy on them. That's the best you can do. All right. That's what I'm getting with that. I know that one seems simple, but I feel like for those of you that hits with, that's really impactful. Like, you just got to kind of wait for it to play out. You can offer some small words of encouragement, but it's not in your hands. I think that's one of my things too. It's like, if you know something's not right, you want to do what you can to like make it better for somebody else. But sometimes that's just not in your court. It's just not. No matter how much we want to help somebody, if it's just not in our ability to do so, or it's not right for us to do so, then it's not right for us to do so. All right, this one. I like these stones. The rainbow hematite, which I really do feel like this is a stone to where you can ground energy down, like ground a situation, but then regain your control over a situation. The negative aspects of this are trying to control other people, which I don't think that's a good idea. But I've seen the positive aspects of the stone is, regaining control of yourself or regaining the control of a situation that you feel has gone out of control. That's I think that's the positive anyway. You can tell me what you think, of course. Okay. So what do we got for the people who chose rainbow hematite? Rainbow hematite. We're going to shuffle these. Rainbow hematite. What do we got for y'all? What do we got for the rainbow hematite people? Sorry, I'm trying to. I forgot to shuffle these on camera. You can hear them, obviously, but okay. I think we got that one. Let's do this one. Okay, that one wants to come right out. So we'll do that one, we'll do you, and there's 4 of those right there. Okay, good. One there, and a bunch there. Okay, so there's a lot. Well, there's not a lot, there's 3. How about I just get over myself on that? Alright, let's make sure they're in. Like there's a lot, there's 3. A little bit dramatic, James. I'm just saying. Okay. Try to get these in camera. There we go. And like this is like why this has happened. This is either going to be what to do about it or where it's going. We'll see. Like this is the jump. Like where it is now, why it happened, and this is like what to do about it or where it's going, depending on what fits better. We'll have to see when we reread that part. Okay, so individuality, choices, belonging, belonging, meditation, Queen of Swords, justice, and 4 of coins. Now the bottom half typically is the external influence, the upper half is your influence, and the middle is what's actually happening. And I feel like the majority of this is all about the middle. Like what's happening here is like somebody wants to stand out. And I'm also getting like this past presence, almost like somebody who's crossed over. It's almost like somebody is trying to balance something out from the other side, which is interesting to me. This makes me feel like somebody's trying to regain control of their life. So why is this happening? Somebody's trying to regain control of their life. I'm getting that with individuality. And choices, and I'm getting the Queen of Swords here for you. It's like, I feel like once you realize what's actually happening here, I feel like you can help it move forward. I feel like it's straight, and maybe that's why you're coming to this. It's kind of like, I don't understand why this is even happening. And you're questioning if it's good or bad. You might be even questioning if it's good or bad because you're not really sure. I'm getting it's somebody trying to regain their control of their own life, and this is kind of like them trying to do that. Trying to maybe like push off, or not push off, what do you want to say? Delegate certain responsibilities so they can regain some more control at home because they've got too much going on at work, or vice versa, whatever it is. Sometimes people do the reverse. If there's too much going on at home and they're just feeling like they're getting, mired down with everything that's happening, sometimes they will kind of push off responsibilities and filter them off to other people and get more involved with work. And it's a kind of a way of therapy or getting out of the connection, like giving themselves a break from the overwhelming connection for a while. so they can take their mind off of it and just kind of like step back for a while and just let things take care of themselves. Sometimes people get too involved in situations where they try to help too many people and they have to step away. So whoever this is, they need to regain control of their life. That definitely feels that with this. And the choices coming forward, especially where that card is, like you can only see a little piece of this card. They're making choices trying to regain control of their life, but I feel like you might be questioning if this is right or wrong. I'm getting, as this keeps going forward, I feel like you're having a hard time with this person making these decisions or making these changes. Seems to be affecting you quite strongly. I'm seeing justice with the Four of Coins. I don't feel like anything's going to be taken from you. I don't feel like anything's going to be taken from you. But I feel like the movement around of things, it just feels weird. It just feels uncomfortable. And I feel like this other person, they need this to get back to their own safety, their own sanity, their own sense of well-being. I don't know if this is a permanent thing or not. This is seeming like what's happening, and this is the why. The meditation here is like they're looking for other ways to make this happen. It seems like they understand that this is pushing you a little too much, and they're not sure what to do about it. This is the why, though. Okay, so this is the why. So that's why it's happened. They need to regain control of their life, and they might need some break one way or the other from the situation, and this is what they're doing to reorganize things. It does feel like that. And choices here is a little hidden, that they're making choices to do that. Okay, so that's the why. What do we do with it? Where do we go with it? Okay. I'm noticing the let go here. You probably already have too, if you can read that on camera. There's the let go right here. You got playful here for you more. The playful is more on your side. But then the Eight of Swords between the two of you. I feel like whatever this person is doing to redistribute their control, this can go easily to your advantage, is what I'm getting. If you flow with it, I feel like this easily can go with your advantage, to your advantage. You just got to figure out what they're doing and why. And I just feel like you can put this in a place where it works out for you and them. I feel like if you do this well enough and you get this playful attitude going on your side where you can really enjoy these changes, I feel like this other person might really... I feel like a lifting of tension. How's that? It says let go, but I feel like it's more of a lifting of tension. I don't think they're going to leave the situation. But I feel like the tension is lifting. It's kind of like they're feeling the love, they're feeling the joy, there's a lot more spark coming back to them. It's just, I'm noticing this Eight of Swords binding the two of you together. These changes might end up being permanent. And one or both of you might feel like once these changes happen, that's just how it is from now on. It's not the case, though. The Eight of Swords is saying that's a trap card. To think that once things go in this different way, and it feels like that's going to be permanent, the trap card is warning. The Eight of Swords is warning that that's not going to be permanent. Whatever this is not a permanent situation. Even if it feels like, for example, maybe you do have a situation where this person seems to be letting go completely and just walking away from the situation, it's not permanent. They're still connected. So they're kind of also giving you a heads up, like be more playful with it, find out what they want, make it go to your advantage. Might as well, because it's not permanent. Don't fall into the trap to think it is, because you're going to think, well, maybe this is how it's going to be from now on. I feel like that's not the case. The Eight of Swords is warning of that trap. It's warning of the trap. This is a trap card, yes, but I feel like in this reading, in this position, it's warning that you're going to think this is how it is from now on, and I can get comfortable, and this is just how I'll set it up here going forward. Don't fall into that. Realize this is temporary, because for however long this person lets go or has that release of tension, it will come back. They will return to the way things were, or something similar to it. So be aware of this. I feel like that's what they're trying to give you a heads up about. So here's the why. This is what they're giving you about what to do about it. Just don't get caught in this, because I feel like that could be like another moment where you feel kind of like this is kind of becoming a little bit uncomfortable. Like, wait a minute, what's going on? Why are you changing up the game again? If you know that's going to happen, they're going to return, I feel like you'll be fine. Okay. And that is the Rainbow Hematite. I think we have one left. So let's pick these up and get the last stone. Where are we putting that? Right there? Okay. The last stone is the green calcite. Okay, what do we have for the green calcite? Green calcite people, why did this happen? Why? Okay. I don't really know if people like seeing the shuffling. Sometimes it seems like people do, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. I'll just be honest, I'm not going to edit it out. It just doesn't seem like it's worth it. You can just kind of skip ahead a little bit. And when you see the cards start coming out, you know, there we go. And there we go. Anything else? Okay, there's that. Let's do the other deck, the Bonefire Tarot. This deck does feel bulky today. It really does. Once in a while it does, not always, but today it feels like I'm shuffling like small novels or something. It feels huge. Like, geez. So we got these two decks. All right, let's go ahead. Move the green calcite down. Green calcite it's a calming energy usually, and I feel like it removes stagnant energy. So it's like if you have like a depression moment and you're just like you feel like you can't do anything, you're just stuck. This stone is supposed to help you like feel or like remove that energy to like help you kind of calm down about the situation and move forward. Even if you're not feeling the best about it, be able to actually move. It kind of promotes movement. It's supposed to do that. I haven't used it that way. I've used it for focus. Right or wrong, that's what I've done. I think that's already done. All right. There's that deck. We didn't really have a lot come out from these, I noticed. All right. 1, 2. And I think we can do a third. Reminder. Okay. So, green calcite. What do we have coming? Like, this is the Y. This is a transition card. This is the only one I've seen a transition card with. So, Six of Swords is moving on from difficult times. Ace of Swords is like a new beginning, but usually very centered on communication and knowledge. The reminder is right with it. So all of this is like, I feel like when I'm seeing Six of Swords, it's not moving on from difficult times. It's a reminder of somebody else who has. It's a reminder of something else, either a reminder of somebody who's passed on, or maybe it's a reminder of somebody who skipped out on the responsibility. And this is something coming back. Why is this happening? Because somebody's been waiting to point this out. Somebody's been like lurking in the shadows and been waiting to point this out, is what I'm easily getting in this part. Kind of like, oh no, you're not going to get away with that. I'll wait for my moment, and then I'm going to show that happened, and this is who did it, and that's who got away with what. Like, somebody's been waiting. Somebody's been waiting is what I've been getting. It's just been a matter of time before it came forward again. Because with the Six of Swords, it's like something moved on, or it's almost like somebody got away with something, or it seems like somebody got away with something. But the Ace of Swords is like saying it had to be exposed. Somebody's been waiting to expose it. I'm noticing a little bit of anxiety with that, by the way. So it's almost like the way it finally came forward, like somebody was worried that it would never come forward if they didn't push it out whenever they did. Like, it's almost like they hit a breaking point and they just had to say something because they thought it was unfair, so they pushed it forward, and that's why it happened. Now, if we keep going forward here, the next thing I'm noticing is the understanding. And the way I read this is the center here, the center down is environment. The center up is the person asking, which would be you in this case, and the middle is how it matches or comes together. And I'm noticing the understanding on your side. So I'm figuring, like, at some point, if you haven't gotten there yet, you're going to see, like, why this is coming forward. Like, somebody's going to make it quite obvious that they're exposing somebody or something because they thought somebody was going to get away with something and didn't think it was fair. Somebody got away with skirting away from responsibility, or somebody's being forgotten, and they don't want that to happen. You should be seeing that at some point fairly soon if you haven't already. Which is curious if you're asking, why did this happen? Almost like you're questioning if that's really the truth. This is what I'm getting for this. Like, they thought something was going to skip away. For some of you dealing with like a past loved one, it's almost like somebody who loved them was afraid that their memory was going to get forgotten. and they just freaked out a little bit. I feel like there's a freak out energy with this, and the reminder's making me really feel like that. Now, there's where this is going. I feel like there's kind of like really kind of weird. I don't know if I really want to call them arguments or just like snotty conversations, because it doesn't feel like people are really flat out arguing and screaming at each other. But with this, is that the 6 or 7? What is that? The 5 of Swords. Okay, the 5 of Swords, and the way it's depicted on this card, it does look like an argument card, but I feel like it's more of a snotty conversation. Just kind of like people aren't really happy, people are grumpy, people don't want to talk about it, people feel like, this is just inappropriate and they don't want to deal with it when they're forced to. It just makes them uncomfortable. I'm feeling the person you're dealing with, whoever pushed this forward, might be a little snarky. I don't feel like people are really going at each other, though. I'm getting with the risk reversed. I feel like the reason that's there is like it's almost like the situation is solving itself, but like the energy is kind of like muting itself out. Somebody's saying something a little bit off color or a little bit unfavorable, not nice. They're not being nice about what they're saying, and people are responding to them in the same tone, but it's not going anywhere. And I feel like that's where this is going. I don't feel like this is going to go anywhere. It's kind of like somebody says something, it's off color, it's not right what they say, and somebody like handles it with the equal intensity right back. They give it right back the same way. I don't feel like that's going to be you for the people asking, not most of you, but you're going to witness somebody else doing this, and it might make you uncomfortable. Like, is there going to be a problem here? Do I need to step involved? Do I need to step in the middle of this and kind of calm it down? I feel like don't. Just see where it goes, give it a few minutes, and I feel like it'll just kind of like mute itself out, and I think it'll be fine. I feel like that's what they're saying. Like, just kind of watch from the sidelines for a minute. Just take a minute to just really absorb it and see, like, if it seems like one side is escalating higher and higher, then you got to kind of like do what you think is right. Let's remember this is a general read. But if it's one of those things where somebody says something snarky and somebody says something snarky right back, and it goes back and forth a couple times, watch the intensity. Is it just staying the same? Is it just like just little one rude comment this way, one rude comment back, 2 rude comments this way, 2 rude comments back, 1 rude comment this way, 1 rude comment back? Like, give it a minute just to see if it really starts escalating. Watch the comments. Are they really hitting below the belt? Are they just kind of being little jerk comments, just saying things they shouldn't? I feel like this energy is going to mute itself out, and it'll just kind of dissipate, and it's just best to let it dissipate on its own. I feel like for this situation, that's the best. All right. Anything else with this? I think we're done here. All right. That's the last reading for this pick a read. Thank you for watching, of course. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, James for Astral. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.